Oh boy. I guess I better go ahead and start this show. My apologies, everybody. I am late, and of course, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this because this is something that needs to be addressed. Uh, a friend of mine who came on to my Discord wanted to talk to me about the situation with Visa and Mastercard with the whole DL site. For those who don't know, DL site is, and I will show you guys. This is the website in question. This is a website that sells Shonen and also comics, also a lot of things, including Shonen games, webtoons, voice dramas, stuff like that. Now, this is an adult website that has a lot of stuff in it, especially games, especially visual novel games. And what it is that the issue is payment processing has changed. Now, they had to talk about this because the payment processing of this is that user's agreement has originally written in Japanese and has been translated to English. The Japanese version represents the terms of use that translates the reference and purposes inconsistent between the versions of the Japanese precedents. In addition, while DL is accessible by users of various countries worldwide for both the use of DL site itself, regardless of any differences of legal principles they may be subject to respect the use of DL site and bound by the Japanese law and regulations of Tokyo Metropolis. DL site makes no guarantee about the appropriateness of the content in respected environments of the users. Users access to DL site at their own discretion. DL site accepts no responsibility for users the use of this site, which is fair. Now, they accept payments over 200,000 yen. So, where's the prepaid payment to instrumental available use? DL points can be used within the DL site website. So, this is kind of the thing that's going on. They have explained some things about the issues with the DL site, especially with the payment processing and everything else. Now, keep in mind, what was posted here on Discord, he kind of brought up some things. Well, the thing that a lot of people don't know, Visa and Mastercard does not have full control yet. Now, what is going on with that whole situation is that American Express and JBC still support DL site. That's kind of the thing. For those who don't know, American Express and JBC. Now, JBC is a Japanese credit bureau, discontinued service in America in 2018, but they are partnered with Discovery. Both accept each other's cards anywhere the other does. It also is worth noting, and this is what he explains, that Visa and MasterCard has been trading to push JBC out of American markets for decades. And when they finally did, it was when they finally started pushing all these censorship regulations on merchants. You may remember in 2018, the year of the Patreon, and other platforms started cracking down on lolly and Shota content, and the UN made a sweeping attack on it. That tells you that they were waiting until they got JBC out of the US, so people would have no other options. But if Discovery stands by their partner, American Express sticks to their lone wolf guns, then they could be the best shot by breaking away from Visa and MasterCard duopoly. Now, this is kind of what's going on, because this is something that a lot of people don't realize is happening. And someone that works in the industry sees their response to these things. I can tell you, Visa and MasterCard are not too big to fail. If an organization group of people started moving to Discovery and American Express, especially if they tell them why and when they do it, Visa and MasterCard will likely rethink their policies. And if they don't, Discovery and MX will seize on the opportunity to openly advertise standing for artistic freedom. Even if a group is small as just weebs, however, I'm also familiar enough to know such a movement gain public traction, but also pull in a lot of people from different groups as well, privacy activists and anti-corporate types, etc. Because I kind of agreed with this point, and I want him to come along and discuss this issue, because it does seem like an interesting topic to talk about right now, because this is something that I'm going to point out. American Express is not widely available in some states. The problem is American Express charges processing fees to merchants instead of the card holder. So also business refuses to take them. But frankly, there's a lot of good reasons to go with American Express and refuse to do business with those businesses anyway, if there's a lot of route to go if you want to go. And I had to do this. And I think this is kind of an interesting topic to discuss, because a lot of people right now are dealing with the issues. And I'm going to point out to American Express and also to Discovery, this could be a business opportunity for a lot of people. And for it would create a lot of business towards the art community. Because I'm just going to point this out to people, because I do agree with this point, is that this could be a lucrative business thing to consider, because there's a lot of things to discuss about, because this has been discussed out before. Considering that the artist community is being under attack, going with the UN plan of trying to take down the anime artists because they can't get on Patreon, I would suggest that Discovery get on this idea of making a payment processing plan of their own, and possibly go by the rules, but at the same time try to go with Discovery plans of payment processing. Make your own payment processing app that can be widely accepted, that can be widely used on eBay if they accept it, or Amazon if they widely accept it. And it could be widely accepted by other businesses if they wish to. But the thing is, how would they make money off of this? This is the thing that I'm trying to ask. If you could probably charge, I don't know, $3, $2, it would be fine. I'm pretty sure people would accept that, but the thing is, it's a lucrative business plan if they ever consider doing their own PayPal / MoneyGram or whatever the heck they want to do with, because it would possibly work in their favor. And I think that could possibly be the plan. And I will agree with this, because this does seem to talk a lot about the whole situation with the anime community, especially with a lot of artists that are upset about this issue. Especially Pixiv. Yeah, because Pixiv happens to be this website right here, which a lot of people are kind of upset about. So keep in mind, Pixiv has decided to change. Now, keep in mind, this is something that I'm just going to point out to everybody, because lately there's been a lot of things going on. Now, Pixiv has its own perspective of what they want to do, and I don't even know they have an illustration award thing. But it is interesting if they would do this. But of course, you have to understand, Pixiv is going into PayPal. And what does PayPal provide for payment services on their thing? If Discovery and also American Express considers doing a PayPal, there's a possibility they can make more money off of it. and possibly, you know, give money to the processing of their artwork and everything if they do that, especially JBC. It would possibly help them, but the problem is that they would possibly be attacked by this, and that's the concern that I have with this, because there's alternative payment processors, but they're from Europe that are not in the United States or anything like that. So this is kind of the thing that I'm just pointing out to you guys, because I think Pixiv, who went through this issue before over the whole UN thing. So Pixiv is kind of a website that is strictly Japanese. So keep in mind, they had to do their privacy policy thing because of this whole situation. And right now they have had to do some optimization and everything for their website. Now, do I think Pixiv is a good thing? Well, that depends, because they actually have several businesses that they do. And it's kind of funny how they do it. Like, they got Vroid, which basically you could pay to make... you could pay some artist to make a Vroid of yourself, of a character that you want, and you could make your own little... your own HoloLive character. Me, I just basically made a sketch out of a meme that someone did. And I'm being honest with you guys, like, it costs money to make art, and I know there's a lot of artists out there that are trying to make money. And lately there's a lot of talk about what's going on with the art community, especially being attacked for making, you know, characters that seem young. And I can tell you why, because there is a law that's going around, especially what was going on in Seattle was kind of weird. Because the reason why, and I'm just going to point out the reason why Steam took out like a lot of the content out of anime girl games, although they do have adult games, but they have to follow the rules. They have to look like mature women, and that's kind of the biggest problem right here. Like this game, for example, it's sexual content, hentai, dungeon crawler. That's kind of an example of it. Now, you keep in mind, you know, I can't show you that content because that would be considered bad. So keep in mind, this is something that can be addressed a little bit. So keep in mind, I'm just talking about this situation because this is a interesting issue, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Let me go ahead and do something here, because this is something that happened with Pixiv, and a lot of people are talking about this, so I'm going to go ahead and kill some... Now, this happened a year ago, and I want everyone to understand the situation. This is like a year ago. So I'm going to point out to you guys this.
Pixiv, one of...
So, this is old news, but I want to go ahead and address this because this is kind of a very good conversation to talk about. So here we go.
The biggest, actually the biggest artist community and image board has now banned some artwork from being posted there. And I'm here to tell you all about it, baby. So let's roll that little news intro here because this is quite the interesting headline. And here's your host, Noble of Lost Paws out here. How you doing, guys? Maybe drop a subscribe. Would appreciate your time around here. We got some definitely very huge news concerning the art community out here because, you know, a lot of you guys tend to be weebs on my channel. I can definitely see you right now. You probably got some anime merch around there. That's okay. Anyway, Pixiv made a big ol' announcement on Twitter just the other day, and it's definitely be cooking for some while right now because you can definitely tell that people didn't take the news too well, given that it has 40K retweets and some quoted retweets, 5K, and only 24K likes. It's definitely getting a little bit hot and heavy, to say the least. Now, obviously, it's in Japanese out here, and I can't really read it anyway. But if clicking on the website, it brings it over to English so we can understand it. And I, of course, will spill the beans in here in a more easy to understand way as well. Basically, they said, we are going to add an update December 15th that is going to be banning all sorts of art on there. On the booth, the Pixiv fan box, and Pixiv request feature, but not the actual normal free-to-use website itself, surprisingly. Just the paywall thing, so that's at least an interesting update for you. For now, at least. It may actually extend onwards to the full website in the future, but we'll see how that one goes. The fact that they're banning anything at all is really weird, considering that it is a Japanese website, and Japanese people usually tend to not give two flying fricks about the Western audience and what we care about what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. But this time, they were a little bit pressured here. Pressured by, most likely, the credit card companies and possibly also PayPal. Anything where they can get money out of, hence why on only the pay sites where content is going to be disappearing. Now, what content specifically? Well, they added a nice little bullet point list, and let me tell you, it gets kind of funny where the things that they're listing off here. Furthermore, the rules and policies of brand protection of card network transactions. Yeah, there you go. There's the credit cards.
I didn't realize when you were going to be getting on.
Yeah, I started the show. I did talk about the situation, but I was showing Lost Pauses video that happened a year ago about the whole situation with Pixiv. Yeah, because I kind of understand what you were talking about, because I did remember this, and this is kind of when you mentioned the UN thing, when I read the whole thing, yeah, this is kind of the situation with the UN. The UN is trying to get involved in this, trying to attack the anime art scene, because I can understand. They even attacked Steam because of it. Not because of that, it's because of the Seattle business laws.
Right.
Yeah, because I understand.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because from what I understand, Seattle kind of has this law where if a character looks young, I think it was kind of you can't create images of children that are like sexualized and that's what they kind of had an issue with. That's why they removed some of the content from Steam. And it was mostly lolly content.
Yeah.
Or they forced them to censor it.
Well, my stance in this mostly comes from, because I don't want to, obviously for security reasons, I don't want to exactly say where or what I do or anything like that. But I generally speaking, work in the financial industry.
Yeah. And
I see a lot of this kind of stuff head on. And I very much notice the pattern. Like, this is very intentional plays by Visa and MasterCard.
Yeah.
And they started all of this, they've been going after JCB for decades. And when they finally drove them out of the American market, that's when they started doing this pressuring. And you'll notice that these websites and the UN and all that started taking their hard stances against it right when JCB got pushed out of the American market.
Yeah.
And it's to people who care about that kind of thing, the people who worry about that kind of thing, I just want them to to know that Visa and MasterCard are not the only options.
Yeah.
There are ways to fight against that as a consumer.
Yeah, because I had to bring up the idea because the reason why they're dependent, like Pixit is so dependent on PayPal. And the problem is, I don't even know if Visa or MasterCard has something similar to that.
Well, so when it comes to Visa and MasterCard's grip, it's got a lot to do with the fact that they've stationed themselves as pretty much the only card issuer.
Yeah, the go-to card issuer of businesses.
Right.
And that's the thing, like, I can understand that. And that's the one thing, because they actually have PayPal. They are the partners of PayPal. And you notice how PayPal and also, what was that other one? What was the other one? I keep forgetting. It's the one that all YouTubers use. Because
I'm tempted to say Cash App, but
Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, because I know Patreon's the other one that they use.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah. See, the problem with when it comes to PayPal, we don't know. Like, this could just be the people that run PayPal could be like this.
Yeah.
But it's also very possible that they just like the different websites and whatnot, they feel pressured to it because Visa and MasterCard have such a stranglehold.
Yeah.
And such a large percentage of people who have any sort of debit or credit card have a Visa or MasterCard.
And I know for a fact that this involves equality now. If it's the UN, it's equality now.
Really? I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, you know who Equality Now is, right?
Not off the top of my head. No. Is that part of like the whole DEI
years
thing?
ago, they were an a UN advocacy group that was complaining about anime and manga being let's just say they were using the same arguments as Anita, that it harms women.
Right. Okay.
And they basically were trying to take down anime and manga, saying that it was actually harming women in real life. And it's like, that was kind of the problem until one 13-year-old kid kind of made the argument, why are you guys focusing on imaginary women when you should be focused on real women that are being harmed in the UN? And they didn't do shit.
Not just real women and children being harmed by UN workers.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And that's the thing. Like, I think this is the problem. Like, they can't fight reality, so they have to resort to fighting fiction, and that's the irony of this whole situation.
Right. Well, and it's also, I mean, I don't want to get too into the conspiracy or anything, but it's also like there has to be a certain degree to that is intentional.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't just completely ignore the real aspect and target the fictional aspect unless you've got some sort of, maybe it's just for optics,
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like virtue signaling, but regardless, it's got to be intentional. There's no way you can't be self-aware enough to realize that you're doing that.
I know, and they're doing this for some financial gain or something. I don't know what it is, but you could tell these people, like for example, with the ESG thing, they're doing it for financial gain. But the problem is, some of these people don't care if they're going to lose money. They're somehow going to leave with a golden parachute, and eventually, don't care about the business. They'll just leave everyone in the fire while they leave escaping.
Right. Yeah, it's so. Yeah, I consider, and I don't want to make all these theories about who's, calling the shots on this, who's making the decisions. It could just be a bunch of people. It could be people just being stupid.
Yeah.
What I will say, though, is it's a real possibility that the UN started making the decisions they did because of Visa and MasterCard instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
And I don't know. As somebody in the field who's noticed some of the plays they've made.
Visa and MasterCard. Let's see if there's any UN initiative. UN initiative. Or something like that. Let's look it up. Visa and MasterCard reached a $30 billion settlement over credit. Let's see. What does this have to do with it? Ooh, so they actually had to settle for a $30 billion settlement over credit limit and debt and fees. They were probably suffering in 2005. But this is from the business insurance thing. I don't know if that's a legitimate site.
Right.
I'm looking at this problem.
What's this?
I'm just looking up this thing. Because I'm just looking up, like, this is kind of what they're saying. Under settlement, the Visa MasterCard would reduce swipes rates by at least 4 basis points of 0.04% points for 3 years and ensure the average rate. So they basically were dealing with a $30 billion settlement over credit card fees.
Huh.
That's kind of weird, though. The antitrust settlement on Tuesday, like the largest U.S. in history, receives a court approval that would resolve most claims in nationwide litigation that began in 2005. The merchants have long accused Visa and MasterCard of charging inflated swipe fees or interchangeable fees when shoppers use credit and or debit cards, bearing them through the anti-sweep rules of directing customers towards cheaper means of payment.
Yeah, so that's actually true. So that's one of the reasons. Have you ever noticed, I don't know how familiar you are with credit cards. Do you have an American Express card, or do you know anybody who has one?
I know my sister had one. She had an American Express.
Did she ever tell you about how she ran into issues with a lot of places would not accept the American Express card?
Not that I know of. I know she used it that card for specific reasons in New York, for example. I know that in some cases, I know payment processes and banking issues with them is kind of limited to where they can go.
Yeah, okay. Well, the reason why a lot of merchants decline or refuse to accept American Express cards is because, unlike Visa and MasterCard, American Express actually charges their fees to the merchant, to the business, while Visa and MasterCard charge them to the cardholder.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of businesses say, well, we just don't have to accept American Express. Most people have a Visa and MasterCard anyway.
Yeah, because they don't really charge.
Right. It's once again a case of them using that sort of duopoly that they have in the market to
they basically,
just force.
Yeah, they basically charge a fee when someone, makes a transaction.
Right. And they work together on this a lot too. I've seen this a lot. I see alerts whenever they increase their fees, and anytime Visa or MasterCard increases their fees, the other one does too. Yeah. They work in tandem.
Yeah. So there's also the fact that I know that there's another thing that happened in the list here. MasterCard and Visa are suspended in operations in Russia. That's another thing that's funny about that. Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of theories you could come up with knowing that.
Yeah, I can see why they didn't like, because they were like, "Oh, we're banning our operations there." Why? Because the U.S. government wants us not to associate with Russia. Yeah, and I'm looking at the news on this because I was like searching up stuff because I know they are so they said right here, Visa and MasterCard announced that they will be suspending operations in Russia over the invasion of the Ukraine. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can understand why a lot of things have happened, and it's like I can see why. Like, here's the other one. Here's the human rights statement on MasterCard. This is what they're trying to do. Their statement on this one: MasterCard is committed to respecting and promoting human rights. So they do. So they are. So they are. As a technology company in the industry, we see it as our responsibility to contact individuals and businesses and organizations around the world to create a great opportunity for all. That includes seeking to address violation of human rights within the sphere of our work and harnessing the power of our network to promote human rights where we can around the world. We are members of the United Nations Global Compact. Let's look at this compact thing. So these are the businesses.
Interesting fact I just wanted to bring up real quick. I don't know if it was related to anything or not, but they issue like special black
credit cards.
To UN members with like unique benefits, and they don't disclose all the benefits either.
Yeah. But I can sure that they would probably sell it to a third party.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I can imagine them like, oh yeah, this is what they were spending, and they would snitch on them.
Yeah, exactly.
So right here, I'm looking at the MasterCard thing because they're on their website here. The United Nations Global Compact. Where's the? Yep, they are part of the global UN community. And this is their website. So yeah, and they are financial information of Google. And Google Finance is the company United. So MasterCard, and let's see if Visa is a part of it. Let's see if Visa is a part of this partnership as well. Okay, so the program Visa, but they have it in different languages. Let's see. Communications progress. Yep, they do have a MasterCard.
I would imagine they got to be in some capacity because Visa is the one that issues those black cards.
Yeah, Visa issues the black cards for the UN. And it's kind of, if companies actively related to the SDGs undertake the collaboration with other stakeholders, establish emerging best practices. So they're trying, I heard about this best practice thing. So they're trying to do DIE and all the other stuff that's going on in businesses. So it's kind of what they're trying to do to promote this stuff, especially promoting peaceful and inclusive societies, sustainable development to provide access to justice for all, to build an effective, accountable, and inclusive institution at all levels. And that includes the whole art thing too.
Right.
They don't want to bring out, they don't want to, offend women.
Right, but it doesn't offend women. Even some of the most like horrible stuff you can see.
Yeah.
Even some of the like the grossest art and all that. Women don't care. Women engage in a bunch of their own messed up art.
I know. And there's some women that you see that just draw that stuff, and you'd be surprised. It's like some of them can be a little bit extremely disgusting, but some of it is extremely good too.
Right. And the way I see it, it comes down to is I don't care. You do you. You're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, and I understand a lot of them just draw that stuff because they want to express their themselves or their fantasy. But it's not like it's a bad thing.
Right. I know a girl that I was friends with for about a year and a half before I found this out. And then I found out she was like super into, I don't know if you know what this is or not. Props to you if you don't. Guro art.
Yeah, I know what it is. It's not something. It's not something I.
And I was like,
yeah, it's
right.
Just,
no, I feel the same way. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know, but it's like I'm not going to end our friendship over that. It's ridiculous to throw a fit over that. It's just a weird quirk of hers.
Yeah,
it's not like she's actually going out and gutting people, and
yeah. So this is so the Corporation and Governance Committee. Board oversees the company. Okay, so governance is another thing that they're trying to get into too.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it
so
is. I'm looking at this right now because by the looks of it, they're even doing the statement on modern slavery.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not going to take guesses as to, like, you know, how deep it runs or anything like that. But
yeah.
I'm sure this connects in some way to the World Economic Forum too.
Yeah, because I think the problem is that they're trying to change everything into something that they want to change for the good of mankind, but at the same time, they're killing people. I feel
You'll
like,
own nothing and you'll be happy.
Uh-huh.
And it's like I feel awkward. I feel like I've almost fallen to like some of their tactics and stuff on this to, you know, kind of control what people are saying about it, because I feel awkward bringing that up, like I'm supporting some kind of conspiracy theory, and then I have to remember that was part of their ad campaign. That was their ad.
I know that was their
put it out publicly.
I know, and the thing is, it's like they're a cult. They're like saying the same thing. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing?
And I'm sitting here repeating things that they put out in their public ad campaigns and thinking, oh no, I'm just contributing to a conspiracy. No, I'm not.
I know, and this is kind of the problem. Like they're changing Pixiv. That's exactly what you're doing.
Right, exactly. It's ridiculous. It's over the top.
Yeah, and plus art is a gray area on so many levels, and they're trying to and they're trying to take this into consideration what they're doing. I get this. It's like, look, I'm sorry if I brought up these things, because these things were brought up on the website itself.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I noticed there's a lot of like a lot of wording that's been happening, especially with the whole situation with video games too. Like they're not just attacking the art community. They're attacking the video game community, the movie industry, and other and I have a feeling they didn't even want to finance the porn industry either. That's why the U.S. did that too.
Right. They've been trying for ages to figure out how to get out of that. Every year some politician tries to sneak through in one of those 5,000-page bills like essentially a full-on porn ban. And then people catch on to it and throw a fit, and then they gotta vote no on that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't do that.
But eventually, somebody's not gonna notice, and they're gonna slip that on through.
They did.
Next thing you know, you gotta verify your ID to go on Pornhub.
I know. And they did that in Texas.
Yeah, I heard. Well, did that fully go through or not?
I don't know. Let me check.
I thought that it passed the House, but not the Senate, or something like that. And
it's basically you have to have a license to view it, and I'm just like,
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, the new Texas law requires porn sites to check visitors' age to ensure they are at least 18 years old, to display a health warning that porn impairs human brain development rather than comply.
What?
This is
Are you serious? Oh my god. See, that's the reason why I hate this stuff. If they were being direct and they're like, look, minors just got way too easy access to it. We want to do something about that, to curb it, to prevent that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, cool, totally makes sense, totally on board. But that's not what it is. That's not what they're doing.
Yeah, so the legal experts say that the Fifth Circuit's decision to upload a Texas law regarding adult entertainment websites conflicts with the U.S. Supreme Court's proceedings regarding minors' access to obscene material online. And that's kind of, and I think that's kind of what's going to happen with the artist thing too, because I understand there's a lot of artists that like to draw like adult content, because that's what sells these days.
Right.
And I know that because I met some artists, especially foray artists and others that do this type of content, they
just for the money.
They do it just for the money, and they do it. They usually get commissions from privately from artists that would pay in cash, but sometimes it's kind of the thing that kind of makes them money. Like they do this just to pay their bills. I don't hold that against them.
Right. And it's one of those things too where it's like, yeah, a lot of artists just do it to pay their bills because they get, a lot of commissions for that, and it does sell. And it's also a factor of like, yeah, and I'm sure a lot of them, a lot of those same artists too, if you asked them like, hey, if you were getting paid for a standard amount of art, like for normal art, would you want this to be banned? They'd probably still be like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because remember,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do recall there was a guy that played a popular TV character that I used to know back in the 80s. His name was Paul Rubin. He was known as Pee Wee Herman. And he got into trouble with the law because apparently he bought a picture, and according to that picture, it was two kids kissing each other.
Okay.
And they were naked, and what happened was he in an interview he said that he bought this as art. And that kind of got into the aspect of what happens when you is this art or is this child porn? Well, it's kind of a decision up to the judge. That's kind of what I would believe it to be.
Right. Well, getting explicitly on that topic, in my opinion, it's pretty clear cut, and I feel like the law is pretty clear cut on this too.
Yeah.
When you read through the law on it. And that's, if they're real, yes, it's child porn, and that's horrible.
Yeah.
And if it's not real, it's not. It's a fictional drawing. You're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Weird, but do what you do.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the question: is it child porn, or does this sexualize a child? Maybe it could. If it's doing it in a way that's sexual. But if it's not, that's up to the judge to decide.
Right.
But on a court of law. But that's kind of the thing that I would believe that it should be. Yeah. Because I'm not going to try to, assume the person that bought this is that, but unfortunately the court of law would consider that as that. Right. And it kind of gets into the court, and what is fine and what is okay type of situation. Because I understand a lot of artists are trying to make money, and they're trying to sell their works, and they're putting their work on the line to make a buck.
And I mean, yeah, they are. That's their way of surviving. That's their way of making money.
Yeah.
So if, as long as, because I would never, I got to make a disclaimer here just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
Not everything in the name of making money is okay.
Yeah.
But if you are not harming anybody, I don't like the idea of the government stepping in and saying, hey, you're not allowed to make money with your skills.
And I know that Pixiv is trying to make money. It's like, but they have to do it because, well, they want access to certain payment processing plans like PayPal or other payment process. But the thing is, it's like Japan could easily
frustrates me.
Yeah, Pixiv could easily, make money if they did it with, if like for example, like they could have gone with alternatives.
Yeah, they have alternatives. That Pixiv frustrates me in this whole thing because the majority of their customers are Japanese.
Yeah.
And, the JCB, they're not blocking these transactions. I don't think American Express is blocking any of them.
Yeah.
They're not with DL site.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, is that a lot of people don't know this, and I'm not trying to, start a movement. This is why I brought everything up in the first place, though, is because just working in the industry, dealing with the industry, I know for a fact that if people went to Discover, which is a partner of JCB, or American Express, and they told their credit card company or their bank or whatever product they're changing over, they told them, and you don't have to explicitly be like, hey, I'm doing this because of the lolicon. No, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But you probably shouldn't either. But you can be like, I'm moving over because I'm concerned with Visa and MasterCard censorship. And if you think that you as a single customer, that's not going to make any deal, they've got cards with everybody, trust me, every time they notice more than 2 people doing that, they have a meeting over it.
Yeah, because they're trying to
they panic.
Yeah, because
well, they notice a pattern of people leaving.
Yeah, because I think a lot of them are getting tired of things that there's items that they want and they can't gain access to it because it could be considered illegal, it could be considered this and that, and it's like a guy trying to buy a gun, for example.
Right.
And it's like there's also that consideration of the whole Chinese social credit score thing. Like that's another thing that people are worried about. It's going to probably surface in the United States soon enough.
Well, I mean, it already has been to a smaller degree for a long time. I mean, that's what your credit score is. Like, people are like, oh, well, with your credit score, you just build it up by, getting a credit card, paying off your loans, paying off your bills, go through Experian. That's true to an extent. But they decide credit scores based on factors that they do not make public.
Yeah. So what does this... So the thing I'm going to ask about this is that... What... I know that there's also the issue with... I know that the situation with, what was that one? OnlyFans. The payment processing company had to clean up a little bit with the whole situation with certain, violations. With a lot of adult content, especially the ones that they try to avoid. Because I know they banned a couple of people in that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that was weird though, but it was funny as hell just hearing about this stuff. Oh my, the incest thing was just the.
Yeah, that's always been a thing though. Like back on the early days of the internet, like the most common porn sites. I remember back when Pornhub was new. Yeah. The most common tags were like tags that people would, and they most of the time still are. Pornhub had to clean up their act a few years ago. I remember they purged what was it, 80% of their content?
Yeah, because it was,
and now nobody uses them anymore.
Yeah, because they kind of, let's put it this way, they from what I heard, there was a woman that was an actress, and she is a part of the investigation group for what's his name, that's no longer working for that company, Project Veritas. And she
James O'Keefe.
Yeah, James O'Keefe, which he no longer works there.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, they kind of got called out for their stuff.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, so James O'Keefe is still working. It's just he's doing his own thing. And to my understanding was she called out Pornhub and investigated that Pornhub had teenagers uploading porn on there.
If I remember that controversy correctly, and I think this is what sparked the whole purge, and that was that a partner site that Pornhub was partnered with, apparently there was a known instance and suspected to be a couple more instances of somebody lying about their age to be an adult streamer on there.
Yeah, that was kind of the issue that happened.
And their response was, hey, on a partner site, somebody lied about their age to stream on there. Instead of cracking down on our verification, you know what we're going to do? Just purge 80% of our content that we don't like. Yeah,
that was pretty much what happened. But I wonder if they're going to purge if they're gonna purge the I have a feeling someday they are going to purge the percentage of hey, how's it going?
You know, same old, same old.
What's up?
Hold up.
I'm in to talk about payment processors today.
Yeah.
Because I have some experience with them.
Yeah, you mean the D-Light thing?
The what?
Yeah,
The D-Live, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. You're talking about DL site, right?
Yeah, the DL. We call it D-Live. We call it DL.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So it was the DL site.
Yeah, DL side.
Now that I think about
But
it,
yeah.
it would be. Is it me, or is this part of a bigger? You know, a bigger issue. For example.
Yeah, I would say definitely part of a bigger issue.
Yeah, because he lives in Puerto Rico, and he told me the issues with his payment processing. Like, they cannot accept his money on Amazon, eBay.
Right. Well, it's like there are two in the U.S. You really only have two primary alternatives to Visa and MasterCard. And they're not nearly as big as MasterCard or Visa and MasterCard either.
Yeah.
But you do have Discover, who is partnered with JCB, Japan Credit Union, or Japan Credit Bureau, rather.
Serious.
And then you've also got American Express.
There's also Cirrus, but then again, who uses Cirrus?
I don't even recognize that name.
Oh, it's pretty old, man.
Yeah.
Cirrus, spell it for me.
But yeah, American. My issue with a lot of these credit companies is the fact that whenever I'm trying to order something on Amazon, the shop says that they will not shop to my to U.S. protectorates, or they will not ship to U.S. protectors, or they will not ship to Puerto Rico because of the fact that this island has over 167 zip codes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, see, I do know that there are some payment processing companies that recently dropped Puerto Rican businesses altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Like, that's something that happened. We weren't really... So, I do not have information regarding that. I just know that they were dropped.
Dude, how and why?
That I guess you could say that was company decisions. I don't want to say which companies, but that was some company decisions, and it's not something they made the majority of their employees privy to.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But all I know is that a bunch of the vast majority of Puerto Rican clients just dropped off.
Ah.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. You guys are gonna be fucking us over more every day.
I mean, yeah, they're making some big power plays here. I was talking about this. Getting JCB out of the American market was a big deal for them. That eliminated their biggest competition.
Yeah.
And there is still Discover, who's partnered with JCB. The way they have it set up is that Discover and JCB accept all of each other's cards everywhere they accept them.
Yeah.
through the same network. And then there's also American Express. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to come on today and talk about this is because I do want people to know that, especially in America, if you do care about this kind of stuff, it does make a big impact to, say, your credit card company or your, or your bank, to be like, hey, I'm going over to, let's say, Discover, because I'm tired of the Visa and MasterCard censorship, or even to just be like, hey, I'm not wanting to support Visa and MasterCard. Do you guys have any plans for, supporting cards, through Discover? Capital One was talking a couple of years ago about partnering up with Discover to issue cards through them. And just simple things like that. You don't even have to leave them if you feel uncomfortable with that. If you call up and just ask them, tell them, that you want a card through Discover or American Express, and you would love it if they did that sometime.
Yeah, with a bank that can help support them.
Right. And that makes a massive impact. I want people to know that. A lot of people feel like, I'm just one person, it's not going to make a difference. It really does make a huge difference when somebody calls in just to do that.
I know. And the thing is, it's like, the problem is like, people are depending on PayPal. People are depending on, like, other cards to pay their stuff online. And it's understandable.
In our case, a lot of businesses are actually depending more on ATH Mobile, which literally means at any hour mobile. It's it's basically an ATM service by the Popular Bank of Puerto Rico.
Cool.
There's even an app. I tried to get into it, but here's the problem. For some reason, my bank will not let me do an account in there. So if I want to buy something, I can't use it. I can't use ATM Mobile because they will not my bank will not actually validate it. And I even called and everything.
Like I remembered when they introduced it, Apple Pay, my bank did not accept that. Visa and MasterCard could not accept that. And that's the weird thing about it, is like, those companies should do that because they're a company that, but I guess they didn't like Apple Pay for some weird reason. And that's an alternative pay for.
Well, the biggest reason is it's complicated. It's hard to accept Apple Pay. To this day, merchant businesses, they struggle all the time with errors trying to accept Apple Pay and Google Wallet and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, they run into errors. A lot of devices that accept cards can't even still take Apple Pay. And we're talking about, usually it's the cheaper devices with the cheaper plans that a lot of businesses want. Lets them accept most cards, but won't take like Apple Pay or something like that.
I know that Stripe is another one that's kind of a alternative too, but it's also by Discovery.
Right. Well, and a big problem with a lot of these things here, though, whether you're talking about PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Apple Pay, all of that, is that they are still ultimately using a Visa or MasterCard.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where a lot of this comes into play, is that it's still that ultimate stranglehold that they got, and they got all this influence. Yeah. And I think, I'm just taking a guess here, but I think a lot of these big companies, credit card companies and everything, that are so beholden to Visa and MasterCard wouldn't be if they started to lose their grip on everything.
Yeah, because by the looks of it, I'm looking at Stripe, and it's like it's also Discover is a financial service company known primarily as credit card service, but Discovery prides itself in innovation in financial products. I think Stripe could be the alternative too, because considering it's run by Discovery, and I think Pixip could use that, but I understand But I understand that that's an issue with Discovery itself too, because this could be the alternative that people should use. And I try to use it, but I understand Visa and MasterCard does not accept this.
Right. Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's one of those things where it also comes down to being kind of frustrating because of Pixiv, and I mentioned that earlier. Yeah. But like, for example, DL Site, they still fully accept American Express and Discover cards and JCB, of course.
And I think they should I think that they should implement Stripe as another alternative.
They should. And they should also just make a public announcement. I think they should totally fight against this and make a public announcement and be like, look, this was Visa and MasterCard. They did this. Sorry about that. But hey, if you guys get a Discover card, you're not going to have any trouble. You get an American Express, you're not going to have any trouble.
Yeah, because I can see, because I'm looking at the website itself of Stripe, and it's like, I think this is kind of what, this could be the alternative, because I know that people were talking about alternatives, even, what's his name? I wonder if
Stripe works with DL Site.
I don't know, but you could try and ask and see. I don't know if any Japanese person could ask that question too. Because this is a company that this is like from Discovery, so I'm assuming it could, because Stripe is a payment processing company, and by the looks of it, they are showing the pricing and everything on Stripe, because this is like an alternative to so basically they do charge. So access to complete payment platforms, simple as a pricing go, to set up the fee, monthly fees, and hidden fees. I'm looking at the pricing of it. Let's see. Contact sales. Tell us about your business. Blah, blah, blah. Work email, country, region. And this is interesting, though. This is kind of like you can start up your own store and use Stripe.
Yeah. Well, what I will say a lot of people don't know, too, is that a lot of it's this weird thing where in 2018, JCB got out of the American market, but a lot more processors than used to, for some reason now, are opening up specific lines to accept JCB. So I don't know if they're making a comeback or something, or it's weird, but yeah, that's a whole different can of worms, though. Stripe, I don't know a lot about yet. I know that they are an individual processor. I know that they focus more on digital processing, so it's a lot of more modern, new age businesses that utilize them.
And I'm looking at another company. It's called Mastro, and there's also something called Union Pay. And there's Amazon Pay, there's Google Pay, and Diners Club. That's funny.
I mean, there's also Venmo. I know there's a couple of companies that are accepting gift cards in exchange for money.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that that are trying to take the financial, backing of these things. Like, I'm looking at the companies that Stripe is using. I know that go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm trying to remember for Diners Club what that is. I think that might be exclusive to like certain credit card benefits, but Union Pay is to China as JCB is to Japan.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like the banking company that opens transactions out to the U.S.
Yeah,
hold up, though. How is China still making money despite the fact that they're how should I say this? They are absolutely fucked when it comes to the economy, and they've been that way since 2021.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're making money. It's more so the fact that like Union Pay is the biggest international supporting bank from China. So if they have a card that can be accepted internationally, if they can come to the U.S. and use a card, it's probably UnionPay.
Yeah, and a lot of Chinese people come here.
Yeah, basically stuff like Alipay, Weibo Pay, WeChat. They have their own pay system, and that's saying something despite the fact that their real estate market is pretty much in the shitter. Just to the fact that Evergrande, Bankia, and all these other companies are broke.
Right.
They're not necessarily broke, but they are broke enough to know that they could make a profit off of this stuff.
No, they're bankrupt. Right. They're bankrupt.
Yeah.
In the sense that the real estate over there actually makes you know what? They actually make the 2008 real estate crash in the U.S. look like a play date in comparison.
Yeah,
it's that bad, and you have all these people who paid a lot of this money for real estate. They ain't getting that money back at all. They're fucked. Yeah, this is the same country that pretty much gave us a coup, and they put all their hands in the real estate business.
I mean, I don't want to get all doomsday, but that's also like a very likely scenario we're looking at soon in the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can understand that.
I would be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, because by the looks of what they're trying to do, I can see Stripe being useful for e-commerce, and it's interesting enough that I seen this done in a store one time, and I wish my Visa and MasterCard could accept Apple Pay, but there's also Google Pay, but they do accept Amazon Pay for some weird reason.
And Amazon, yeah, they're growing with that kind of stuff a lot. They're starting to get their claws into a lot of stuff, and I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's a bad thing in the sense of, like, you know, that's Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing in the sense of, like, it never hurts to have more competition in different avenues.
Yeah.
Then again, I guess it's not really competition, though, because in the end, it still goes back to cards on Visa and MasterCard.
I know. It's like they basically they pull out the money and they give you money credit, and they pay the money out to you. And it's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah.
Because it's basically credit. And of course, the cash they transfer goes to their account, and they give you they also transfer the money over to the account and make it into like a temporary bank where you could buy stuff.
Right. You know what? I think ultimately it's a good thing.
Yeah. But the funny thing about it is, like, I know Apple Pay is being accepted in certain restaurants, like fast food restaurants. I know Google Pay depends on where you live.
Right.
And I know Amazon Pay depends. I know Walmart has its own payment processing thing too. It's like called Walmart Pay, which
it's associated to a bank called Green.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Green isn't a thing in Puerto Rico, so that being said, we're still using the prepaid cards.
Yeah, Green. Let me look it up. Green Bank.
Yeah, that's the one.
Coalition of Green Capital. Green Bank.
Right.
To fight climate change.
It's typical.
Yeah, the Green Bank Network connects to leaders in clean energy finances. Clean energy finances.
You want to see something hilarious? It's also of all things a Visa card.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 That's one of the things I really wanted to emphasize with it. A lot of people got to realize, like, most of the different banks just license their cards through MasterCard or Visa. Yeah. Capital One, Chase, that they all go through Visa or MasterCard.
Yeah.
The Discover and American Express are unique exceptions to that. But yeah, it's crazy. Anytime you look at another bank like that, they most likely go through Visa or MasterCard. And a lot of the times, they don't have a choice. The actual card in issuing, the final processing step, it would take an unimaginable amount of money to create a viable alternative to that.
Yeah.
Discover and American Express already had their hands in it, and that's why they can still cling to it. For how much longer? I don't know. It depends on how things go here in the future. If everybody just gives into the Visa MasterCard thing.
And the thing is like I'm trying to. I could see a lot of potential in a certain services like this, but I can see that. But I use Visa. I'm being honest with you.
No, I mean I do too. I have Visa and MasterCard cards as well. I kind of have to because of the position I'm in.
Yeah, same here.
I am fully willing if it becomes a thing. I am fully willing, and I've already called up my credit card companies to tell them that I want a card sourced through Discover and or American Express, and that I'm considering leaving. I've already switched my normal processing bank over to Discover, citing to my old bank that is the reason.
Yeah, because it's like they can't accept anything other than that, and there's also the fact that they don't do like payment through the phone type of thing, and that's like the newest thing in the future that people want. But at the same time, I understand there's like also security issues with payment through the phone. Like my bank doesn't do that, but that's kind of the problem.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, there's added security issues. It also gets a lot more complicated, as I mentioned before, for business owners that are older or not tech savvy, because you can run into a lot of technical errors trying to accept contactless payments.
I know. I remember there was a kid that went into Walmart and was asking if I could pay Apple Pay on the phone. They don't have that. They don't accept that. What we do is Apple Pay, not Apple Pay, but Walmart Pay, which you can use your card. You can use your card, and it transfers the money into it to the Walmart Pay thing, and then you can pay for your groceries there.
So weird. I haven't been to Walmart in forever, so I'm not so familiar with that process.
Yeah. Basically, you can use your Visa and MasterCard, but you have to put it into the application of the app that they have for Walmart. And it goes through the Walmart Pay, and then you scan it, and then you pay for it. I tested it out before, and I thought it was interesting. Really good technology, but it's not something I would use.
Right.
Because
and that is the kind of thing where it's like a lot of the times people come up with these promising ideas that they just don't get enough support.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird though, because Walmart Pay is not the same as Apple Pay or anything like that. It basically, you could scan like this little barcode thing, and basically it gives you the price, and then you can use your Walmart thing, depending if your card accepts it.
Right.
And I have Walmart Pay on here. And I thought it was funny, too. I was, like, looking at this stuff. But, hell, you can order stuff online, depending on what services you have on there. Like,
that's pretty cool.
Walmart Pay is kind of similar to that. Like, Apple Pay, where you can scan the thing on the thing. And it's the same thing. Like, I remembered, I know, what was it? Ah, man, Subway has it. Subway accepts Apple Pay, and I know Google Pay and some others, but that was it. But you could use it. But the cool thing is, I know Google Pay is acceptable, and you can scan it on the. It scans the phone, and poof, you paid it. It's kind of like the Union Pay thing,
right? Yeah, that gets into some dangerous territory though, because like the whole reason Union Pay is set up like that is because of the whole social credit score thing.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to be used in the United States soon enough.
Yeah. That's also what, when you start getting into cryptocurrency too, I have been, and to a certain degree, I am still a big advocate of cryptocurrency.
I understand.
But there is a risk to it that people got to be hyper aware of when supporting it. Yeah. And that's if you take one of these clear, open cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and you let that become a government, what do you call it? Government regulated standard.
Yeah.
That's going to be more privacy invasive than our current system.
Yeah, the only cryptocurrency I have is for library.
Yeah.
Library isn't that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do not do crypto at all.
No, what it is I have library. It's the you know that website that everyone talks about that's like the alternative to YouTube, which was
Odyssey?
Yeah, Odyssey, yeah.
Or Rumble.
Yeah, Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a crypto thing too, and I was like looking at this, like this is their crypto library thing.
Supposedly, I know mine's the Facebook alternative also has crypto.
Yeah. But
you don't really spend it on anything.
Yeah, you don't really spend it on anything. It's basically you could even put out your cash in there and just like they accept Stripe and they put it in your bank. That's the weird thing. Like they have Stripe. Like you can see here, it says right here, you could view your balance transaction history on Stripe from the bank account. The only thing is, this stuff is worth like $1 something.
Crypto is utterly useless where I live.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's the big thing with crypto is when you invest in it, you are investing, unless you're like a day trader or something. Yeah. Most of the time, if you invest in it, you're investing in its potential.
Yeah.
But here's what actually fussed me over. The absolute hype, man, going on around saying, "Oh, this will replace the fiat currency. This will you got to invest in crypto, bro. Yeah, you gotta fuck yourself over, economically speaking, bro. You know what I mean? Crypto is gonna be the best next big thing, man. You gotta spend on that gosh coin, my man. You know what I mean?
I can admit, like, there's also there's also the scammers. There's also the scammers. I hate those guys. They try to approach me with that on Instagram.
Yeah, dude, NFTs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives the whole idea of it a bad name. I will say, and I mentioned this earlier, I am a big proponent of it, and that's because of its potential. It's not the perfect thing to get into right now. The reason why people get so zealous over it, though, is because a lot of people consider it to be the only alternative.
Yeah, because it protects them. It protects them financially.
Right. People worry about the government control of finances, of money, and that's getting worse as we get more advanced. So people do cling to things like cryptocurrency and get overzealous about them because it is a viable alternative, but it's also got a lot of issues and risks that you just got to be aware of. But people really want it to succeed, so they get zealous over it.
Yeah. Let me see here. I'm looking at some news here. Oh man, the Berserk Blu-ray. It's out of stock. It's out of stock.
Speaking of
I thought I was gonna get some good news.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bitcoin shield, can we get rid of the Paul brothers? The only reason why they even live in Puerto Rico is because of tax exemption. That's it.
Yeah,
we need to get rid of these people.
Unfortunately,
I'm sorry. I talk a lot.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say my best advice that I can give related to cryptocurrency at all is if you care about that kind of, alternative to, it's like, less government control, more decentralized, then you should invest in it. Whether you invest or don't invest in it, though, stay away from any social media around it.
Yeah. Yeah, if they commercialize it and say, "Oh, this," if your celebrities or anything like that tries to commercialize it, do not invest into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And beyond that, though, I would also just say I'd avoid any of the drama or suggestions or anything like that around it.
yeah.
Like, if somebody's on, unless somebody's like specifically telling you the technical aspects, they're like, hey, this one's like Monero might be better because it's more private. If you go with Bitcoin, you run into the risk of more government oversight. Like, that's some technical, legit advice. But if somebody's like, this coin's really going to blow up, or this is the one you really want to invest in, this is the future, I would shut them off, block them, whatever.
Yeah, because I had people that try to approach me online with this stuff, and I'm just like, no, I'm not interested. I'm sorry.
Look, these are the same faggots who were shouting, who pretty much drove the price of GPUs to the fucking moon.
Yeah, they did.
When it came to mining.
You're not wrong.
I hate these people. They're the reason why I couldn't buy a high-end PC gaming machine.
I agree.
I hate these motherfuckers so much. Because of this reason. 2020, dude. Yeah. I didn't get a good GPU until a couple of months ago.
I know. It was hard for us during the pandemic because they wanted to make their own money.
No, I don't know if that was necessarily all crypto either. I think during a pandemic, a lot of the things like that people knew people would be after when they're locked indoors, they bought out so the prices would rise and they could scalp them.
Yeah. And that was the thing that happened a long time ago. Especially they were using bots to buy out PlayStation 5s.
Yeah, and that was funny.
And also Xbox. I was like looking in the market for and it was like someone was selling it for $650 for an Xbox Series X.
I remember someone was selling a PlayStation 5 for $1,200.
Oh my god!
I remember when the Switch was new and it initially had that first like going out of stock thing. I looked on eBay one time because I was trying to find one that you could jailbreak.
Yeah.
And they were listing just like brand new Switches for like $1,000+.
Oh god!
And people were buying them.
I was lucky that I bought one at the end of the year, Christmas. Oh man.
Yeah.
That was like around 2017. I was glad I bought it when it was.
Look, God, it's so weird to think about how long ago that was.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago. Yeah, it's 4 years ago, and some people still haven't recovered.
I know.
Damn well I haven't.
I know. It sucks, man. I am sorry to hear that shit because I know how it felt. Like even when I lost my job around that year of the pandemic, second year of the pandemic. Oh man, I had to work at a hotel, and that wasn't fun either.
Oh.
Like that wasn't fun.
I feel bad. I had it really easy during the pandemic. I'm not gonna lie.
I can understand, buddy.
Fuck you.
You're also especially gonna hate the reason why I had it easy too. I made a lot of money on the Bitcoin boom.
I don't blame you, man.
I am not surprised at all.
Oh man, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this.
You fucking piece of shit.
This is funny. I'm looking at this Marvel anime complete base set 100 for 900 for almost $1,000. Actually $100. Yeah, I'm looking at the little anime Marvel characters that they're trying to do. Marvel characters. Okay, so this is volume 2, and this guy has a complete set of cards for $100.
Ooh.
So I don't know why they're doing this,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's Upper Deck though. It's Upper Deck. You know how they are. They're trying to increase the value of Marvel
I have
anime.
a bunch of
Oh
Pokemon
look!
cards.
Oh look! More cards that Bugman will be able to sell themselves for.
Yeah,
I mean, in the case of Marvel.
yeah.
I never knew that Marvel cards were like worth a lot. I have a bunch of Pokemon cards that I know total like a couple $1,000s altogether.
Yeah.
And I had them since I was like a kid. My brother went through like 4 years ago, and he started scanning them all. And he's like, "You know, this is worth like a couple $1,000s."
Yeah,
I'm like,
they are.
nope, I had no idea.
Yeah, a lot of the Pokemon cards, like the first set that was printed out in the '90s, are worth more.
Yep, that's what I got. I got '90s issued cards. He actually broke his arm trying to bring those to me when I was a kid.
Yeah, I can imagine him street fighting for those cards, because back then I remember seeing people like they were literally fighting at Toys R Us for these cards. I'm not kidding. Like I seen a guy pull out a knife, and a guy.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was so funny. They had to call the cops on that one. It was like they were just like stealing like Charizard foiled cards, Pikachu foiled cards. It was like, what the fuck?
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, that happened.
I don't get it.
Yeah, like, because kids were like into that stuff, and when people found out how much the full, like, people were willing to pay top dollar for those cards, even for tournament play. Like this stuff was no joke. This was serious stuff back then. And a lot of kids were into collecting this stuff, but when you see like teenagers and adults surrounding it, and yeah, but even now, then you're dealing with adults stealing like Pokemon cards, and that's why you hear that Walmart is no longer selling it, because of how high
the theft was.
Yeah, it was that bad, even during the pandemic. All thanks to Jake Paul. Yeah, it was so funny too. He bought the card and got ripped off. He was like, he showed the card and then he ripped the sticker.
Yeah, I did. Okay, wait, yeah. I saw a video of a streamer, you know, Ray Narvaez Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a video of a clip of him opening up Pokemon card packs,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them was apparently like a scam knockoff pack, and it had this like super fan servicey shot card in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Yeah, apparently that's really common. Apparently it's super common that they like sell these like counterfeit knockoff cards, and they'll replace them on the shelves and stuff.
I remembered the.
I think I know the ones you're talking about, the knockoff Chinese cards from full Pokemon with fan art they lifted from PitZip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
also.
think it was something like that.
Yeah, I think those were those probably will be let's just say collector's items.
Yeah. It was wild. He thought he was going to get banned. He thought his stream was going to get banned that the card was so bad.
I guess it's going to be a collector's item now. Because they're the adult version of Pokemon.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I'm gonna be real with you. I am actually a huge fan of bootlegs.
Mm-hmm.
Because because the more hilarious, the better they are.
Yeah, you got a good point.
Yeah, especially say you're selling me a bootleg card of how should I say this? Say you're selling me a bootleg card of Pikachu, and it's like Pikachu, but done like it rules like Gijinka of a Pikachu.
Okay, so I can see why. I can see why they made a. There's something called Pokewane. This is a. We are a Hong Kong-based store that Pokewane. They market authentic Japanese and Chinese Pokemon TGS products, and I'm looking at some of the stuff, and I'm wondering if they sell the bootlegs.
Chinese companies crack me up sometimes.
I'm I'm not gonna lie when I say
These don't look too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it, go like, that's a trainer.
Pokemon.
Yeah, this
Mainly-
this is a store. Yeah,
Like
some
the
of them,
actual Pokemon cards look pretty good.
yeah.
The trainer cards are clearly meant to be like fan servicey. But you know, it sells. Why not?
Yeah, I can see the rainbow colored Charizard looking.
I just saw a Blastoise one. That one looks cool.
Dude, I had the when Pokemon was in its peak. I had a deck of cards, but it wasn't exactly trading cards. It was actually, of all things, poker cards
Yeah.
with scenes from the anime.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, those were the ones for those were the ones with the with scenes of the anime that you would get at the at that courier shop.
Yeah.
At the courier shop over here.
Mhm.
Yeah. Back when during the golden era of the bootleg product.
I remember the bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Dude, there was also bootleg
I missed
figures
that.
of Pokemon. Early 2000s or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
You know, a
The
card
gold-
game I was into. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bad at that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm really bad at that. I'm
It's
bad
fine.
at
It's fine.
noticing
It's fine.
Places to talk. Okay.
Alright.
Well, then I'll just throw this out there real quick.
Mhm.
What card game I was really into when I was young, and I'm disappointed never got like a super high spike in value, was Magic cards.
Ah, yes, Magic cards. Yeah, they're starting to degrade in collectors' circles right now because there was an incident with one of their let's just say they pissed off a lot of the Magic fans during the time of the new awakening of their business.
Oh, I remember that, but I don't remember the reason why.
There was the incident with a lot of the cards that they had were low quality cards that came from China. Like there was also printing errors. There was also the fact that a lot of people were pissed off with them because a lot of businesses that own cards with them, they no longer want to sell them because of the crap quality that they had.
I also know there was a lot of backlash on the company because of the changes they made to like D&D.
Yeah,
With, like, the
that
whole
was another
recreational
one.
Stuff and all that.
Yeah, they also did the whole Aragorn thing with, and they were trying to do this whole.
Oh yeah.
They were doing this.
No.
They were doing the whole Aragorn thing, you know, being black. I don't have a problem with it. It's just the problem that they had with it was kind of what upset them was that wasn't what Aragorn was in the movie.
Right.
They wanted that version.
You know what's funny though? As a big fan of both Magic and The Lord of the Rings, the part about it that frustrated me the most was not so much that he was black, it's that I don't want those two to cross over.
I know, and they basically did that, but it's just that they were basically trying to attack the fandom because they were like trying to be like all progressive. I get that they want to be progressive, but the problem is that you're doing it because you want to make money. And I heard what happened when one of the guys that was working there, he happened to be African American. He basically quit because he felt like he was a token guy working at the job.
Yeah.
He tried to ask them, hey, I got an idea for something. I want to try this. And he didn't exactly explain the idea, but he explained to them that he wants to work on this idea for the D&D thing, and they didn't want to listen to him. He just felt like they were just using him just to look good.
Yeah, they were. I'm certain they were. That people, for all like the ranting and raving against racism and the lessons we should have learned over the years, they are going total 180 on the idea of tokenism.
Yeah.
Early on in like the 90s and early 2000s, we learned heavily about tokenism and how bad it is, and they are just ignoring that. And they are going full bar with the tokenism. They don't care.
I know, and I felt bad for the guy. It was like, why would you? Why, if you're gonna hire this guy, he should really try to contribute to the D&D thing. If you want him to do something, why is he there?
Right.
Is it just to make yourselves look good that you hired somebody? Oh, look, we hired a black guy. Stop attacking us, people.
Right. Hey, I got a black friend. I can't be racist.
I know.
We got a black employee. We can't be racist.
It's ironic that these guys, they claim they are not racist, but they will say the most racist shit imaginable, even more so than actual racist.
True.
I know.
That's getting back into that whole like Sweet Baby Ink thing and all that too.
Yeah. I will tell you this, like, it was kind of dirty what they were doing, because I can understand that they didn't like this. They didn't like this Steam Curator group, but the thing is, you guys, you went after the guy. You could have ignored him.
Yeah.
You could have ignored.
Or you could have even, if you wanted to be hostile towards it, you could have even just like made a comment of it and be like, "Yeah, nobody take this seriously," and then let it go. But no, they harassed him.
Yeah, they harassed the guy, and that's kind of what caused this whole mess in the first place. And now the companies are, and all these journalists are like, oh yeah, they were harassing this black dude, and this black dude basically made fun of Dragon Ball Z. Like, what did Dragon Ball Z? What did Akira Toriyama do to you? Oh, he made Mr. Popo. Therefore, he's racist. And I'm just like, dude, he didn't do nothing to you. He just passed away. He did it on the day you were suspended off of Twitter, and you came back just to get clout. That's all you were doing, just to be an asshole troll. And they banned you again for that opinion because.
And to add more salt to the wound.
Mm-hmm.
On International Women's Day,
mm-hmm.
they got pissed off at the fact that Akira Toriyama died because he ended up distracting the media from Women's Day.
Oh yeah.
That's funny. No, nobody cares about that. Freaking. My fiance loves Akira Toriyama way more than International Women's Day.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be real with you. If there's one series I appreciate more from Akira Toriyama, it is in Dragon Ball Z. It's actually Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah, same here.
Dragon Ball, honestly, objectively, better series than the C series. And that same time, because I watched the C series. The OG Dragon Ball actually had personality. He had a soul. This show was.
It was more adventure. It was more adventure related because you see Goku like running around the whole world trying to find adventure.
Yeah,
earning his shit from the staff and the cloud and everything. That was actually really awesome storytelling.
I ironically think that Dragon Ball Z appeals more to kids and Dragon Ball appeals more to adults.
Yeah.
Ironically, because it was supposed to be the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah, because even the shit posting from Z was hilarious. Like, you just make fun of it, just like people like to make fun of it. Like, for example, I remember a guy made a joke about it. Like, the whole series is about fighting homosexuality. What? They're fighting each other. Like, the guy was like saying, it's obvious. They are fighting each other over homosexuality in that show because they always keep fighting each other over something called Dragon Balls. You know what that means? They're fighting each other. I know it's cringy, but it's funny as hell hearing that story. Like, they're fighting each other. And
it's funny to hear that kind of stuff ironically.
Yeah.
It's not funny when somebody's unironic about it.
I know. It's like that's what this guy said. Like, it's obvious they were trying to, you know, promote this stuff for homosexuality. You see them fighting over balls and such, and it's like, what?
Homoerotic. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is homoerotic as fuck, especially when it comes to the shouting. Yeah, you got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes of these dudes trying to scream like they're having the biggest shit they will ever have in their lives, and trying not to die when that said turd escapes that ass.
I know.
I love it though. It's ridiculous, but I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I think Dragon Ball is better, but I still love Dragon Ball Z. By the way, while we're on the topic of Akira Toriyama, and I gotta go here and get some groceries that were delivered.
I understand.
I want to throw out real quick. I actually started playing Dragon Quest XI in honor of Akira Toriyama when he died.
Yeah.
That is a good game. I had no idea. It takes a while. It's a slow game, but it's really good.
There's also a new game that's coming out from Akira Toriyama, and that's Sandland.
Yeah, I want to try that. That looks interesting.
I want to check out the series though.
It's already out.
There's
I
a
believe.
series too?
Yeah, Sandland
Really?
actually. Yeah.
Oh.
I think it came out the other time, and they got a demo of Sandland, which I'll probably download right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is why I like about Sandland. It appeals to me because it is basically Mad Max in a sense. It is Mad Max.
Yeah.
Got
So
the wars and everything.
yeah, it's Mad Max with. It is
And all that.
Yeah, they also have the manga. I think it already came out too. And you see the characters and everything. Like they have the female character. They have it's basically an adventure story too. Like that's what I liked about Akira. Like he always makes like these interesting adventure stories.
Yeah.
Have you seen
He handles lighthearted stuff better than most other artists, like, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that one illustration he did when it came to the stuff that he needed, and one of them was dirty magazines?
Like he jokes around about it a lot.
Okay. So here's what I need to work. I need some car magazines. I need some car models because Akira Toriyama is a gearhead too. The man really used to love, and it really shows with his machine with automobile with his machine design.
Yeah, especially like even scooters. Like he makes like these really cool ass scooters in his designs too.
Yeah,
especially in early Dragon Ball, you saw a lot of that in early Dragon.
Yeah, in cars. Like I remember that one episode where he was like they were like driving this little mini Porsche.
Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about. Was it the one with Yamcha where he was driving the Fiat 500? Bart?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's also Bulma having a Renault 5 Turbo 2, which is pretty fucking insane.
Yeah. There was also the one. There's also the one where there was like one episode where Goku had to learn how to get a license.
Oh yeah, and Piccolo too.
Yeah, Piccolo too. It was funny as hell. It was funny.
That's the best filler ever.
Yeah. It was like,
yeah, and the guy started racing all over the city with the instructors. Like one of them was absolutely hype. Like she didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So they do have a demo of Sandland out, but it's gonna come. The game is gonna come out on April 25th of 2024. So it's coming out in 2 weeks. So if you want to try out the demo, guys, it's here on Steam.
I'm gonna finish Dragon Quest first before I try it.
Yeah, because this is the new game that's coming out with the new storyline by Akira Toriyama, which I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I never read the manga. I might watch the anime, and I might just read the manga first before I try.
I'm probably gonna become a fan of this and get invested in it purely because it was his last work.
Yeah, this was his last work that he ever did. I just hope everyone can support it for the sake of his Good.
I sincerely hope it doesn't bomb like Blue Dragon did, though.
I know. I feel bad for Blue Dragon. It was actually a really interesting game, but sadly, it didn't go well with a lot of fans.
I tried to watch the series, and it was boring, man.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with a lot of Akira Toriyama series, and I've noticed this with Dragon Quest, it takes time. It starts off boring, but that's because it's got a slow build-up, and then it utilizes that later on.
Yeah.
It's really good, but you gotta, unfortunately, invest a lot of time.
I remembered when they did put out the Dragon Quest series. It didn't bode so well on television when I first remembered. They had to cancel it. Because it was very much not popular in the U.S. It's just that at the time there was the issue of violence, and there was kind of a problem with this anime in particular the Dragon Quest anime. They did air this, and I did watch the first episode of it, and I thought it was an okay episode. But the problem was, like, the U.S. at the time was dealing with a lot of stuff, like they were complaining about violence in cartoons and video games, and thus it got to the point that they had to stop it.
Pokemon is satanic and all that.
Yeah, it didn't stop Pokemon. It didn't stop Pokemon even when people said it was satanic. But when you watch it, it's like, oh, that's not bad. Yeah, but they had to censor some of the episodes, like the one with Team Rocket.
Team Rocket and the gun.
Well, okay, which one? Because there's a lot.
I know. There was one with what was it? James having dressed up as a
giant breast. Yeah.
I actually saw that episode in the Latin America.
Really?
In Puerto Rico, they actually Fun fact: in Puerto Rico, they actually had the episode out, but I think they did like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. It was basically Ash stealing a boat. So the guy pulls a GTA, crashes the boat, and then in order to pay back the dude who has the yacht, Misty has to enter a beauty contest, and only to realize that James actually enters to get the money. The guy gets fucking implants, and the implants are also refillable. Like the guy presses a button. There's also that. There's also one
Oregon episode.
There's oh god, that one they will not play that shit, not even in Japan, because of the teacher attacks.
Oh god.
They should now though. They should bring it back. They should edit it slightly so that it doesn't, trigger seizures. And they should bring it back. It's been long enough.
And then you got that one episode in the Safari Zone where one of the guys ends up aiming a fucking gun at Ash's face.
I think it's uploaded online because I did see the episode in question. It was on YouTube, but I do believe that they uploaded that episode.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I saw a clip of it. I never know they uploaded the full episode. But yeah, they also used You're right. They used guns quite a bit in it. I think it was the Squirtle Squad episode. Also, that dude with a gun in it.
Yeah. Well, you know how 4Kids was, man. It was basically 4Kids butchered a lot of anime to the point that it also transferred to the fan base. One Piece.
This is gonna sound weird, but I really sort of appreciate the 4Kids dub of One Piece. I really appreciate that exists.
Well, I'm looking.
It's
a novelty.
Oh, guess what? I'm actually finding out that they are bringing out a Neopets trading card game called Neopets Battle Drome Trading Cards. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at it on Twitter.
What?
I will say that the only good thing was in fact the voice actors themselves. The rest of the show, that's what the show is for,
So yeah, they're making a Neopets trading card game, and Upper Deck is announcing it.
I will say some of the voice actors were a little weird. Like for example, you got Bella Hudson who played Luffy.
Dr. Death.
Oh yeah.
With a voice like that. I'm like, god damn. Good God, the fact they even had to look for someone like that in order to play the Monkey D. Luffy.
Yeah.
In the
No,
English dub.
it's okay. So it's the thing of like, I will go back and see like episodes of the 4Kids dub, and it's like, we're past the point now of having to fight back against that censorship. 4Kids is gone. They've redone the dub and everything. So now I go back and I watch that with all the ridiculous, wacky censorship, and it's hilarious. I'll be rolling on the floor laughing watching the episodes because in hindsight, it's funny. They're not ruining the series anymore. Everybody already knows the series in its proper format, but just being able to see the novelty of it, I appreciate it now.
I appreciated the 4Kids dub of Yu-Gi-Oh, but then again, they skipped a lot of the some of the episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, my favorite thing with the 4Kids Yu-Gi-Oh is the finger guns.
Oh my God.
I love the finger guns.
There's also
they censored out the guns.
Yeah.
Man, I can only imagine what kind of shit these guys were in when it came to censorship, especially from the higher ups.
Yeah. So this is one of the cards that I'm going to be showing off from
Dr. Muerte.
Yeah, Dr. Muerte. Yeah. Let me put it on the general chat here. This is the card that they're previewing for the Neopets card game.
Okay, because I closed the...
Oh, dear God. Oh,
it's in the general.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Wow.
I know what this is. This is a straight up reference to
Dr. Kevorkian.
Dr. Kevorkian.
Oh, yeah.
And they're making...
God.
I know, it's so funny. Like, this is the Upper Deck Entertainment thing that they're doing, and this is kind of funny. They're saying, stay tuned in to Upper Deck Entertainment's Twitch stream just in time to screen cap another Neopets TCG card I worked on, Dr. Death. And apparently this is by and I have a feeling that they'll probably cancel this person. But then again, they won't, because it's the it and they identifier.
The absolute fact that this guy is referencing Dr. Kevorkian is already insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just looking at this going like,
funny.
Yeah, so this is the thing, like, I'm looking at the whole thing on Neopets right now, and it's like they're literally making this game. After all these decades, they just finally decided to make a card game out of it.
I wonder if that's going to take off.
Yeah,
it's in that weird realm where I feel like this is either going to severely bomb or this could actually become like a thing.
Yeah, they got a thing called Lightning Lenny and another one called Money Tree. And let me go ahead and show you guys. It's like, I think that's like the Roadrunner reference.
If you're still streaming it a bit, I'll be back on, but I gotta go right now get my groceries.
All right, you take care. Go ahead. Have fun.
All right. I'll be back as soon as I'm done with it if you're still going.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take a break and continue on with the show here. So here we go. Let me go ahead and do the whole anime memes thing. I'm going to just leave it on with anime memes. Anime meme complication.
Hey.
Are you ready?
Hulu on Disney Plus is now available. Ta-da! With plans starting at just $9.99.